What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're ready to get inquisitive. Hope you're ready to chat it up. We're in my domain now. The moon's in Gemini. I'm going to get ready to go. Well, right when she enters, I usually get like, it's interesting. I was born with the moon at like 0 degrees and 14 minutes, so I get lunar shenanigans like right off the bat. Whenever sign, just like whenever there's like a fresh aspect going on, my moon just woof. So I always look forward to these times. But before we jump into that, we're gonna get into this moon. We're gonna see the duality of Gemini. Really. Oh, we're gonna get some balloons on the way. I just felt like celebrating you, Cancer. But before we get into the celebration, for those of you who are new, welcome to the channel, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. And this is also a channel for those of you who have Cancer in your placement. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, maybe even Mercury, wherever. Cancer, this one's for you. Or if you just want to sync up with the moon, you can always kick it with Cancer. We love that. And I do tarot card spreads based on our ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void of course, just all those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it, because this is another exciting one. We're getting on another major phase here in the lunar aspects. We're getting up to the last quarter phase, or the third quarter phase, however you want to call it. But before we jump into that, depending on when you're watching, I'm going to get ready to get shuffling. Happy Sunday. Sunday is associated with, I'll give you a guess. And on Sundays, this is a great day for you to check in with your life force. The sun is our life, our light, our vitality. This is how we get that divine inspiration to build. It's working what you're growing towards, that highest vibration, that highest self of you. That's how I like to look at the sun. And with the sun having just entered into Virgo not too long ago, this could be seeing what are some things that have been diminishing your light some. The sun hour or sun days can be great for just checking your health in general, but I feel like with Virgo, double down on that. Just look at where we can maybe cut down. Maybe we can cook some more of your own food, or get enough rest, or maybe getting out for walks, just moving the body in general, staying hydrated, just little things like that. So I've even read where if you're like maybe scheduling a doctor's appointment, for example, try it during the sun hour. Those are usually great times for that. Great times for presenting yourself, shining bright. Thanks, Divine Self. If you're born on a Sunday, Sundays could be, actually I was born on a moon day, so I've always it's always interesting to hear people say, oh, Monday, and I'm usually like, yeah, no, I'm usually about Monday. Monday, you're right. Thumbs up for Monday. But also thumbs up for Sunday. So just take this time, kind of be in your energy, and if you can get out and get in the sun, kind of bask in the sun rays if it's not overcast or anything. Even just getting out even when it's overcast. The sun, you can still get those solar rays. But also, depending on when you're watching this, let's get into the lunar shenanigans, because the moon is going to be entering into Gemini at about 8:03 p.m. and it's going to be Pacific time. And she is going to be entering the waning, or she's going to be getting into that last quarter phase, but that's going to be happening on Moon Day. So we'll get into that in a moment. But this is going to be a busier time as she's traveling through Gemini collectively. She's going to be forming aspects with all of the traditional planets, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And so there could be a lot that's going on, a lot of activity that's going on. But with this Gemini energy, I find the moon in Gemini, if you are noticing a lot coming up for you and you're not quite sure what that is, talking about it, getting outside of yourself. So that way, when you get it grounded, you can analyze that and kind of see where you're operating from, and not coming at it from a place of whether this is bad or good. Kind of removing that when we're coming with Gemini. Gemini is about seeing things from both sides and just kind of taking the facts as they are. What are the facts with Gemini? And I could see this as if you've been having like a certain narrative that maybe you've been fixated on, maybe that's been happening since like Taurus, maybe it was something that you've been kind of struggling working through. Gemini can be a great way of breaking that energy up. It's a faster moving pace. It's ruled by Mercury, who's going to be going direct here soon, actually in a few more days. So I'll say on the 28th is when Mercury's going to be going direct. But while we're still in that retrograde energy and the moon is in Gemini, I would say kind of look to see where you have been, where there's been a certain narrative, maybe where you've been kind of devaluing yourself, or there's been a more kind of self-deprecating speech. And you don't want to give just one twin just all the power. With Gemini, remember it's a dialogue and not a monologue. And so if there has been maybe one voice that's been kind of really kind of beaten down on another one, it's like, how can we establish that balance? Again, I feel with Gemini here. And I feel too, this can be great for just exercising that active listening skill as well. Really kind of understanding where people are coming from, and understanding too, Gemini can pick up so much. Paying attention to when you're hearing a dialogue that's something out of the norm. Maybe you're noticing a phrase that you've picked up, and you're just like, where did that come from? What's that about? Get a little curious about certain feelings, certain thoughts, and different feelings that are coming up. And just, we're not picking them apart where you're stressing them out, but it's just like, where did I pick that thought up from? Oh, this is coming from them. And then you can kind of see if there is a certain narrative or a certain energy that's been going around you. You can get better eyes on that, better understand that, and process that a lot quicker. You can move through that even a lot quicker, I feel, with Gemini here. So that's just some things I feel to just kind of think about with this moon in Gemini in general. And if you have your moon in Gemini, I'm a big proponent of just air sign moons. If you're not sure what's going on, if things are seem just kind of all over the place, write them down. Write them either, and there's a number of mediums. Do the medium that works for you. I like writing. I love talking. You could do it with like a voice memo. That's not one I've personally done, but that's just an idea that I thought about. Maybe you just do like a video like this. And even with Gemini notices a lot of the nuances in things. And just pay attention to your speech pattern, your temperament, your body language. See what's going on and see how that dialogue is either fueling. Is it elevating you, or is it devaluing you? There's whatever the opposite of elevate is. There's another astrologer that I'm subscribed to, and she actually just put this post of she did an experiment with her kids, and they put on one jar, they put some rice and some water in a jar, and on one they put like, I hate you, you're an idiot, on one thing, and then on another one they put, I love you, you're beautiful, or something along those lines. And then like after 4 hours, when they went to look at, I think it was like 4 hours, when they went to look at the rice, one was already starting to mold and one was just looking just fine. And so their words are very powerful with Gemini. And I feel with Gemini's energy it's the fastest of the air signs. So things can happen so quick, and you can manifest things very quickly. You can get in a loop very quickly. So I feel like you want to get an idea of, get the thoughts and where the emotions, so that you're not overthinking them. Understand when you have an emotion come up, analyze, okay, this is me experiencing happiness, and what are the ranges of what that look like? Because I can be happy when I'm just celebrating, but I've been in a really down place and still have found some happiness in there too. And I think that Gemini, the nice thing about Gemini moons is that it can help others articulate what they're going through. You can kind of get in their head, or kind of see where they're coming from, notice the pattern when you start doing those things in your own sort of way, coming at them instead of coming at them when you come at them with curiosity. You get a lot more information than when you come with just like this judgment, or if you're coming with thinking you know one side, but you got to see all sides with Gemini. There's so much, there's never anything black and white with, and I'm trying to be mindful with using like, kind of definite words like that, but Gemini, there's always another side to it. There just is. That's the point of them. The reminder that life isn't just black and white, that both of them both of them together make a whole lot of gray. So, but yeah, those are some ways I would say of working with the Gemini moon. Now let's get into, I got a chart for you here. we wanted to talk about the last quarter phase that is going on in this chart. And this is going to be pretty milder sky. I feel like it's going to be more so we're in a transition period right now. The last quarter phase happens when the moon here chilling in Gemini, all chatting it up, and the sun having just freshly entered into Virgo, working on his health routine, getting into these daily rituals, shining bright. That's when they form a 90-degree angle. It's like the first quarter, but with the first quarter, this is like you going into action. You get this inspiration and you're trying to put this stuff out there. But so you can think of it as a waxing square. But then when you're getting into this waning section of it with this square, it's now that you've put this thing out there, you've had this realization with the full moon. Now you're seeing like, okay, some things can stay and some things are going to have to go. And then what's that going to mean going forward? These phases in the last quarter phases getting to the next new moon, this is the reflective period. You're just like, okay, this is what matters. This is what matters. This is what doesn't, or maybe priorities shift. We're just kind of reassessing some things, clearing out. Maybe we had started up some stuff, maybe from some previous baggage, possibly, or maybe some unprocessed issues. But now we're doing that. Something new has maybe sprouted up here with this last quarter. But I feel with this happening in Gemini, this is happening in let me tell you the degrees that this is happening at. This is happening at 3 degrees and 38 minutes, the moon in Gemini, the sun in Virgo. And you're going to want to look at those areas in your chart because that's where this activity is going to be coming up for you. For example, this would be happening very close to my moon, actually. This would be happening in my 11th house and my 2nd house. And so I'm looking at, I've had these ideas that I wanted to start up for this cycle as far as like what my future is going to be, what my aspirations, and it's like, can I make some sort of like livelihood out of this? And I'm seeing like, okay, yes, if we were to approach this way, give this some time, we're going to have to maybe do some more advertising. I'm just reflecting, okay, what am I going to need to make more space for? How am I going to, are there going to be some other ways that maybe I can fund this dream possibly? That could be how that's just one example of how this could be practically kind of coming up for you, some sort of real world thing. And I feel like it gives you, so you can, when you get used to thinking of these combinations like this, it gets easier because it really is just looking at these themes of life and they're all divided very cleanly, creates a very fruitful story because astrology can seem complex because life can be complex. But I feel like astrology helps bring things in order. It helps you put yourself get you in the flow, get you in the cycle. So if this is something that you're wanting to do maybe more personally, I have if you want, let me see if I can try that again. I'm looking for it. Mercury's almost done. He's retrograding through my 1st house. And so my speech has been a little wonky, but if you are looking to work with the moon more closely, just work with your chart more closely. Get into these different cycles. Maybe you want to maybe your sun's in Virgo and you're wanting to get a solar return reading, or maybe you've been noticing you've been having some really tough emotional months. So maybe you want to get a lunar return reading, or even better, maybe you want to join my lunar group. And it's kind of like, it's similar to this, but it's of course, your chart would be up here and I'd have a list of the transits that are going on. We would be talking about where this area is working more specifically, and the lunar group is working over a 27-month period. We meet 4 times in that period of time. You have this access to this group always. You can ask me any sort of like questions. It's just a whole bunch of things. So if you have any questions about that, there's some links down in the description box, but I also just have a link if you just want to just go ahead and join, and I'll send you all types of stuff to get you prepped for that. I'll have all the information as far as what are any sort of like progressed moon things to look forward to. Do you have any conjunctions, squares, oppositions that are getting ready to happen? Are there any lunar phases that are happening very close to any sort of points in your chart? I think that's all. Oh, hold on. Okay, I did want to talk a little something about this chart. But yeah, do you have any sort of thing that are acting more personally, so you can figure out which lunar cycles that you may want to join and kind of work more intentionally with? So again, if you have any questions about that, all that's down in the description box below. But one thing I wanted to really kind of talk about this before I did switch back, before we switch to the tarot, is that there is a lot of Mercury here retrograde in Leo. And Mercury, like I said, is going to be going direct here in a couple of days on the 28th. I feel like as Mercury's wrapping up this retrograde cycle, and you see we have a lot of energies here in Gemini, a lot of stuff in Virgo. I feel that the direction, if you've been kind of confused about where things are going, stuff is going to start making sense here soon. Venus will then move over into Libra. Mars, it may be, I feel like Mars in Cancer is Mars is in his fall in Cancer, so that might be a little bit of extra motivation. May have to work with the Moon a little bit more closely during that time. And Mars is going to be retrograding here soon. We got a few more months for that. But this can be a really great time. This energy was giving me like a back to the drawing board type of thing. As Mercury's going direct, what kind of stuff came up for you while they were going through this retrograde? How do you see things going forward? What were some, again, that duality with the Moon and Gemini, what were some things that were some great ideas? What were some things that are not so great ideas? And really listen to your inner truth with that, as far as like with the Sun being in Virgo. You feel in your body where certain stuff is just like, okay, this thing is really not working for you. You've tried it this way, you tried it that way. I remember, for example, where I was kind of working on quitting smoking. First I thought, okay, well, let me switch to the vape. And vapes were kind of for me. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll roll my own, because then it's extra effort, and I only roll one when I want one. I'm not rolling like any extra one, so that way it's not just, I didn't want to make it easy for myself. And then I was like, oh, I'm saving all this money. But after a while, it's just like, you know what, like, you've been trying it this way, trying it that way. You can try to justify this till the sun goes down, but if you really want this to move on, you're just going to have to pull the plug on it. So that could be what this conversation is having. Again, apply it to whatever area this is happening in your life. But we're not just mourning something that's going away. It's like, okay, what can I fill this with then? What else? What are some healthy substitutes for this? So just some things I feel like to think about with this last quarter. Again, a pretty light last quarter that's happening here. So take this time to, and this could take some time too, I feel, just to, if you've been maybe wanting to learn some new ways to move through some emotions, or to find ways to get grounded, or any sort of things that you want to learn to kind of help improve you, or even like learning even some like new affirmations or things along those lines. Gemini energy can be very supportive for that, and it's something that you can learn very fast and implement very fast. So, and as always, I feel, be flexible when we have a lot, especially with all this mutable energy that's happening right now. Things are going to start getting a bit more grounded here soon. We got a bit more of this mutable stuff, but with Jupiter and Saturn being out there for a little while. But we're in a very interesting time. Yeah, I feel like this is a very important couple of years that's getting ready to happen. A very powerful year where we can really kind of shift things in the directions that you want to go, to really get yourself, to set your future self up for success. So that's where I'm really kind of getting with this. But let me talk about the void of course energy, and then we'll get into this. Now, on Mars Day, that's going to be the 27th of August, from 10:50 p.m. until Mercury Day, the 28th of August, at about 1:47 a.m., we're going to be in a void of course period of time. And again, that's going to be Pacific time. And the void of course is going to last about 2 hours and 57 minutes. So this would be one where, if you don't have to work that evening, try to get to bed a little early, just to make sure to get yourself some extra rest during this time, especially with the aspect that the moon is forming. The aspect usually flavors the energy of the void of course during that period of time, and she's forming a square with Venus. And so this could be seeing where maybe if you've been feeling like you haven't attracted the things that you've wanted, maybe you've been feeling like life, maybe you haven't been feeling as beautiful, as confident, or as empress-like as you could, maybe have been feeling inspired. This could be a time to, because I don't think Venus, I think Venus doesn't enter, she enters Libra on the same time, that Mercury goes direct. So I would say just this, with Venus being in Virgo as well still during this period of time, just making sure to try to implement some implement some care. See where you can show yourself a bit more love. But the void of course period of time is also one where it's a good time for kind of wrapping some things up, getting some things in order there. So maybe if you do find yourself kind of up late, maybe having trouble sleeping, maybe do some cleaning up around the house instead of like scrolling on the phone. Try to do something like, oh, if I'm up anyway, I've been meaning to clean that stove for a while. Let's do that. Or maybe I want to do some sweeping. Maybe I go to clean the bathroom, and that might even just kind of tire you out. Then you feel a little more accomplished. So like, okay, at least if I'm not feeling as beautiful as I want to, at least my space is. And then that motivates me to want to be as beautiful too. So, but I also, it's a time where it's like the moon is just reflecting on what has went down in Gemini. What are the lessons that she's learning from this? And just kind of putting that chapter to a close. So if you can get some time, especially if you find yourself working during that period of time, during that 2 hour, almost 3 hour period of time, finding some deep breathing, making sure to take some time to get centered, maybe get outside. If you're like maybe working in, say like a hospital or something, just step outside, get some fresh air, take a minute, just kind of center yourself, maybe look up at the sky if you have that available to you. So that would be just some ways to work with this. Now, last little thing here, let's get hydrated. And these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And before we jump into this, I know, it's like, Justin, we're almost there. I keep thinking one more thing. Gemini. I'm going to do some sounds, some good vibes here, so adjust your volume if you need to, but we're going to ring this bell a few times and we can jump into it. That seriously just raises my vibration to the roof. All right, let's get into this thing. Wow. Okay. So I swear I was shuffling. So you have that air and water dragon. And that's so fascinating. So this card helps you to connect to higher frequencies, trust your intuition, develop psychic abilities, being open to enlightenment, and express your inner song. I'm getting a lot of heavy, you know what? Maybe with Gemini, maybe something to maybe start incorporating, maybe getting some sort of like sound baths, for example. I'm getting some sort of something to maybe kind of help break up the mental clutter. I'm getting a lot of static noise here. You know how those, like if you ever had one of the antenna TVs, how if you put it on a channel that wasn't nothing going on, to just be just a bunch of static TV. That's what I'm kind of getting. It's like there's something that's trying to come through. You're adjusting stuff, you put a little tin foil on top of it. Those are the days. It puts a tin foil on, you're just trying to find this reception, but something still feels, something's interrupting this. I'm gonna get another oracle one on this one, just to kind of get some more into this air and water dragon, to kind of see what's that's about, because that's the third time I think we've gotten that this cycle. So when you got cards that follow you, I feel, pay attention. Have you been trusting your intuition? This developing your psychic abilities. This could be just something as simple as just like, you know what, this maybe harnessing, like, let's say if maybe you feel like you're an amateur poet or something like that. Well, then let's become an intermediate poet. Let's find some things to get inspired, possibly. You're looking at other people's work, looking to see what maybe kind of moved them. What are some authors, or I'm just throwing out some things, or maybe I'm even getting like someone who's swimming, possibly. This could be maybe needing to connect. To develop these gifts is connecting to something that you're natural at. It doesn't have to just be this artistic thing that I'm getting. This inner song is just something that your heart needs. It's just like if someone took your words away. I'm not quite sure what that is. Let me see what that's about. Connecting with higher frequencies, I just pictured stepping outside, maybe with your cup of tea, cup of coffee, cup of whatever, and just taking a minute, taking a warm beverage, and just like taking in the day. I see the steam kind of rising off the cup. Just what are some little things to help, even just like connecting to the present moment even more. Thanks, Divine Self. Let's see what else is going on here. Okay, so we have the green and gold dragon from Sirius. It brings, oh, look at that. That's actually really cool. And this brings universal knowledge to your spiritual pathway. And this is about learn about spiritual technology. Be a transmitter of sacred knowledge. Sirius, interestingly enough, is located in Cancer, if I'm remembering correctly. I want to say, I couldn't tell you the exact degree at the moment. But when I'm thinking about that, this universal knowledge, this is just something that, what is your truth? What is your gift that you have to bring that connects, that gift that you have to bring the world? This is this is your skills permeating around your world, whatever that means. It's going to ultimately affect the world, but this spiritual technology, learn about spiritual technology. This could be maybe learning different techniques as far as, maybe different meditations possibly. Or just doing something where maybe you like to play an instrument and you want to work in a lesson once a month, or get some practice books. Or maybe you want to build cars and maybe you just start a project possibly here. But we are transmitters. We are this expression. We're these instruments that are here to create. I'm thinking about the relationship with the sun and the moon as we follow the lunar cycles. The sun gives us these downloads, this frequency, and the moon helps us to disseminate that light. We work on these things, we get these ideas, these motivations, we follow that through. Okay, we get to the full moon, okay, then this doesn't work. That I may need to put off to a little bit later. We can adjust some things here. There's a natural order. Oh, you know what? That's how spiritual technology, we don't need to get any devices. Okay, I'm with it. This could really literally be just kind of connecting with the planets, sure, but I feel like this technology could be just learning about your body again, connecting with your rhythm. What are some things that work with you? Maybe you've been trying to work a day job and you get up at 5 o'clock and you feel like crap every time. You know what? Maybe let's do an afternoon shift or something like that. This is just basic examples, but so just something to. I feel like the body's giving these keys, these signals here. You see this dragon hold this key here. Even Chiron's coming through. There's a lot of healing. Let me get some tarot on this and get some details. I'm learning this thing, sidebar, I'm learning this thing with the nakshatras. My moon is in Kritika, and there's this heat from above and light from below, and I feel a heat right now with this. There's something here, and this it's nothing but tuning to the body, and it's finding different tools, whether it be through astrology, maybe it's through tarot, maybe it's through whatever craft that helps you to connect with that. Let me get some tarot with this. A lot of Martian energy here though, with this 3 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups. That's Mars in Capricorn, Mars in Capricorn, and Mars in Scorpio. Both very strong. Thanks, Divine Self. Strong placements for Mars. There's that devil. You got the devil here, the 9 of Wands, the King of Wands, the Knight of Swords. Then you got the 3 of Pentacles and the 5 of Cups. This 5 of Cups, I'm getting I'm getting like a desired energy, but it's like something has happened. It gives me this example. Let's say if you got laid off from a job, and yeah, that's never great, but then it gives you an opportunity. This is what my partner did. He got laid off from his job. Something happened, a job that he really, really enjoyed. They just happened to just just what happened, nature of the business. They were doing tech cuts, and then he started his business. And it's like, how do you take something that seemed may have been a disappointment, but it may have been like a redirection, is what I'm getting with this. It gives you a chance to pursue some cups that have been look at these cups overflowing. They've been wanting to be tended to for a little bit, maybe a lot of bit. And it may not be you necessarily quitting your job, of course. That's not this, of course, apply to your situation. But it's more so about what are some things that are preventing you from bringing your gifts, this universal knowledge, that we all are here to create something. But this devil here is feeling, it's like it's giving its power to something else. It's allowing something or someone else maybe to kind of pull the strings here with the Three of Pentacles. And maybe there's some people that you're working with in your environment that you need to maybe change energies with. They may be people that tend to burn you out, possibly. Like I was saying, pay attention to that transmitter, your body. If every time you hang out with someone you feel like a wet cat, you feel like there's 9 of Wands here, that's probably time to do something, I feel, with this King of Wands, and put some real heat behind that with the King of Wands. That's he's associated with the first 20 degrees of Sag and the last 10 of Scorpio. And so there's this that Scorpio energy is that there's that inner child that's wanting to go explore, and it's coming. That's interesting. This King of Wands is giving me, you're going to go through this thing. Maybe you're thinking about starting up something. You're like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if that happens? Well, if you don't do this thing, then nothing happens, and we'll never know until we try, is what this King of Wands. It's like it's like, try not to give up before the battle's even fought. You're not giving yourself the proper credit or the proper chance to show up or show out, to greet this challenge head on here, to go, and maybe this could be some others who may be throwing this doubt here. This Knight of Swords is the first 20 of Aquarius and the last of Capricorn, or last 10 of Capricorn. And so it feels like you have something to bring to people, but it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, is what I'm feeling possibly here. Or maybe people just might be surprised maybe with this thing, but you may even be surprised here too with those who might want to support you in this endeavor, possibly, where you could find some resources with this Three of Pentacles. And I'm gonna get a little bit more with the devil before we move on from this. There's something else in that, and then we're going to move on from this. Maybe this is fine, working with some sort of like coach, possibly, to... Oh, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Hire an Empress. Thanks, Divine Self. Oh, look at this. And their ruler, Saturn. Love that. So, wow. I love that. So, okay. So this is giving to me, you have the power. Oh man, you have the power of creation. You have the power to bring things to close that you want to be, but you have to forgive them. There's this DNA that's around this Mu here. You have it. It's in there are things in your bones that are encoded in you that are needing to be expressed. We are the Empress. That's interesting. This Empress is giving me, she's wanting to, we want to receive this gift that you have. That you're, this light that you're meant to show, whatever that's looking like for you. And it doesn't have to be anything like, I'm not saying like it like this had to be necessarily world changing, but it could rock your world. It could maybe just change your world in a way, like fill your world with more beauty than you thought that you could even. Create the world that you dare. This is giving me almost like a dare to dream energy, even with that. Allow yourself to notice when those doubts are coming in, because they happen sometimes, but then greet them with, there's a responsibility here with Saturn. There are people who can help you. These Three of Pentacles. There are people who can help you and support you with your dream, but they can't make you do the dream. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm getting with that. Okay. Yeah, a lot coming in, there. Okay, let's get some more on this. Okay. Thanks, Divine Self. See what's else going on here. Opportunities. Oh, big opportunities. You got it. Okay, so you got the Ace of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, and the Two of Swords. So all of that together. You got a choice. You got a choice where you can make a wish. Come more Martian energy. This. Nope, never mind. That's Jupiter and Pisces, but that's still expansive. That's honestly even better. This Nine of Cups is your wish, and this Ace of Pentacles is making that wish tangible, but. It's just, do you want to put that in? Are you ready to put that into existence and ready to take the weight of? Oh, interesting. Take the weight of the wish. I'm getting a be careful what you wish for, but only with this Devil. When you tell yourself that you can't do something, when you make something your law, that Gemini, when you're just seeing one side of things, then you're just gonna stay disappointed. We're just gonna stay in this place where if you expect it, it'll be there for you. But if you expect abundance, it'll be there for you. And there are going to be challenges, of course. Like, that's just life. Life is just, and their experiences. I really think that Gemini, and it's easier said than done. I feel like we've gotten to this place where things they're what's better, what's good or bad, this or that, right or wrong, malefic, benefic. It's just like certain things are just they just are what they are. This is I'm in this body in this experience with these circumstances, usually this with that. Astrology can be, tarot can be kind of cold with it and just kind of let you tell you about yourself. It's not going to really be this kind of, and you can, what I'm getting with that is like you can see just the one side of this. We could see just as the devil, let the devil run this whole situation, affect the gift, or we can let the devil be the teacher. I'm getting this thing of this quote where it's like, no man is your friend, no man is your enemy, but every man is your teacher. And that goes with life experience as well. No situation is good, no situation is bad, but every situation is your teacher. It's you're growing through something. I have my son in the house of misfortune. I'm not destined, and it's in my north node's in the house, or in the house of bad, or what is it, misfortune, and my son's in the house of bad spirit by traditional astrology. So you could see that as, oh my gosh, Justin, how do you get outside? I get outside by being a service. that's how you gotta shift this up. It's how you gotta come at it from a higher, or you don't have to, but it's harder when we're operating from a lower place, when you're trying to aim up and you're aiming up from the bottom of the hole. Let's get some advice from Mercury. But there's this spiritual pathway. I feel like it's there. But it's hold on, because they got 10 of swords here. Thanks, Divine Self. Yeah, all right, so last little bit here. We got the 10 of swords, the 2 of cups, and the 2 of wands here. Let's switch back over. This 10 of swords. This is where we're at rock bottom. This is where, that's one perspective. You could see yourself. It's that glass is half empty. It's that why hope, all of that. You could just leave those swords in you and just let them bleach out. And listen, I say that having done that for a long time. It was just, granted, but I also learned that even in those times, I was able to find even some hope. There was something that was keeping things going, something that was going along here. But this Venus, the 2 of Cups is Venus in Cancer. There's this energy of, I feel like it's like knowing that you can change, that there can be this growth, that things, that circumstances don't stay. Ten of Swords is like every other card. It's to show that life is transitory. Everything has, we start from that ace and then we get to the 10 and then we start over again. and then sometimes it's kind of a bit scattered. Sometimes we're a bit all over the place. Maybe a bunch of different things are going on. But this Two of Wands here, there's, at this point, it gives me just like, well, where do you want to go? And there's a lot of this world energy that's going on around here that I'm noticing, and it seems that I'm getting even a bigger thing. I think that is knowing that we all, this is not just something that don't feel like you're the only one that's having to do these situations, to have to do this stuff. It's, we all have these moments. Every single person on the planet goes through 12th house things, goes through first house things, goes through 10th house things, goes through 6th house things. And we all, we just grow through it. It's an experience, and then you can, hopefully you can laugh about it later. And I think that's what Gemini invites us, that, especially I think even think about where you can find happiness. Sometimes you can find laughter and things in some real tough, I've had to find some laughs in some real tough places. And but the thing with the Ten of Swords is the sun always rises again. The sun is just doesn't always stay winter, it doesn't always stay summer. Things fluctuate. Life always fluctuates, and I think when we could just look at it from that, it makes it just more approachable, makes us more adaptable and more open-minded to what we can, our potentials in this, what we can do. That's interesting. Something we've been doing for a long time. You know, the sacred knowledge. There's even something in that. I'm even getting like looking into, maybe even looking back at your family history, possibly, if that's something that you have access to, whatever that might be looking like. But I think I'm going to leave that there. A little something to think about, meditate on. But if you like that or something resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know someone who would benefit from this, who can, help you, get some value from this. And subscribe there, you devil. Hit that bell, you handsome devil. Hit that bell button to get notified on all these videos each day. And then last little bit, if you're wanting to get a report if you're wanting to get, I am reporting on the celestial news that's going on in the sky, come over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I talk about the other planets. We get outside the lunar shenanigans and talk about what is going on, how these may be coming up in your chart, how you can work with the energies there. And I also do, and I've been on a roll, I also do these placement videos where I talk about different planetary placements, combinations, and houses. So, and I would love to hear if you happen to have these placements, how they've actually been coming up for you. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card or cards here, and so I can get you out of here. Oh, wow. All right. And you did get a lot of twos. I was thinking about mentioning that. Thanks, Divine Self. And that's interesting too. Death card energy. You got the 13th card, and this is the fork in the road card. And so, look at these arrows pointing every which way where you want to go. Two of Wands, where you're trying to go. What your higher self telling you. When you find a place, I'm thinking of the Death card, when you find a place where something's needing to change, follow your heart. Follow what passions, what lights you up. What you follow, lead with love. And I feel that will help you get through the forest. And that's interesting. And this, I'm just thinking about the devil. You got these various critters here doing whatever shenanigans they're doing. Be mindful of distractions, of things trying to point you in every. Look at this monkey. This monkey's doing a whole lot. Be mindful of people doing a whole lot. I mean, being just real extra. Yeah, just be mindful of that. But I'm even thinking collectively. I feel like we're kind of at this crossroads right now. And so And I don't think that this is a, if you had to, if this is not about a picking a side, I feel like pick your side. Pick the side that makes sense for you. Your trust, that higher frequency. Listen. If you're coming from a higher place, you're never lost. You're always found. You're always exactly where you need to be. So I think I'm gonna leave that there. So until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof. Keep eyes on the moon. And I will catch you on the next one. Wait, when am I catch you? Mercury Day.